Thank you so much for joining me for Pilates Sculpt. My name is Audra, and we're going to use some weights today. If you don't have weights at home, you can use water gallon jugs, I don't know, dish detergent or laundry detergent jugs, or just squeeze your own beautiful muscles, canned goods, whatever feels good to you. Always listen to your body, take breaks as needed. Don't do anything that doesn't feel great. We're gonna get started standing. And first, we're just going to check in, right? Just start to notice where you are, right? Notice where your feet are, if all of your weight is in your heels or your toes, or if they're nice and centered. And then notice your knees, if they're bent or locked out behind you, or if they're just in a neutral position. And then your hip bones, if they're diving forward or back, or pointing straight ahead. And then your ribs, if they're lifting like the lid of a soup pot, or if they're compressed, or just sitting right on top of your hips, and then shoulders and ears. And we're gonna slide one hand on our back, and our other hand just on our low abs. And on your next exhale, I don't want you to press into the hand on your back, but you're going to draw your low abs away from the front hand. So just exhale. And then when you inhale, inhale into this back hand as well as your front hand. And then exhale, low abs draw away from your front hand. Good, just a couple more. And so a lot of times when we try to engage our abs, we instinctively kind of hunker because that is our superficial ab muscles trying to do the work. And instead, right now, we are trying to find our intrinsic core stabilizer. So keeping your pelvis still, our hip bones aren't moving, our low back isn't moving. Two more. It's almost like I'm threatening you with like a little rubber band gun, and you just want to be like, oh, just in case she decides to flick me with it, right? We just engage a little. Good. And our next one, hold. Now see if you can use your abs even more to curl and look down at your feet. Oh. And then curl and roll down just a little bit more, a little at a time, until you lower all the way down. Good. And then shift your weight back. Notice how that feels. Shift your weight forward. Notice how that feels. Back and forth just a couple times. Notice if you feel a stretch on your low back, on your hamstrings, on your calves. Last one, hold where you feel the most stretch. Take your hands to one side and allow yourself to rotate towards that foot. And then other direction. Notice how it feels from side to side. Maybe it feels the same, maybe it feels different. One more, each direction. Last one. Come down to all fours. Find a nice flat spine here. Press down and wide into your knees so those glutes kick on. And then in your neutral spine position, just draw your belly button up, right? So exactly what we did standing, we're gonna do right now. So then inhale wide. Exhale, just find that nice abdominal engagement without changing the shape of your spine or moving your hips. One more. Good. Now curl your tailbone towards your face, hold, making sure that we're not overly rounding through our thoracic here. And then same thing, all we're doing is trying to find that same engagement. Exhale, find the engagement of those low abs. And relax just a little bit. And again, one more. Good. Come back to neutral. Sink your entire spine, so we're not changing the shape now. Send your entire spine towards the ground. Send your entire spine towards the sky. Yeah, good. Entire spine towards the ground. Entire spine towards the sky. 2 more. Letting your shoulder blades move together and then apart. Yeah, and trying not to overly round here. So we're not going into a Halloween cat position, right? I know it's weird because normally we try to move our spine, but this time we're just sinking the whole thing down, lifting the whole thing from head to tail. Yep. Last one. Hold here. Think about externally rotating your upper arm bones 10%. Curl just your lower abs, tucking your tailbone slightly. Slide one foot out, pushing it into the floor. Flex your ankles slightly, push down into the floor more. Inhale, exhale, float your knee up, looking down at it, and then tap it down, lengthen through the crown of your head. Inhale, exhale, curl, float. Trying not to necessarily move our face too much, right? So we're looking at our knee, yes, but we're not really pushing back. We're just lifting up. If you need to be on your forearms, that's fine. 2 more. Last one. Good. Bring the knee in. Reconnect. And if you need to be on your fists or your forearms, that's fine. Oh, my palms are already sweating. Huzzah! Lift just your low abs. Slide that foot out. Push into that foot a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, curl, and then bring it down. A few more. Now we're moving a little slower today to start. Yes, today is going to be very exciting and warm. So hopefully you've had water today already, but make sure that you are taking breaks as needed and working at the level your body needs. Last one, bring it down. Go ahead, come on in. I'm gonna come onto my forearms because my wrists are needing a small break, but you can always stay on your hands. Slide one foot out. Whoa, other foot comes to meet it. Lift your belly button. Good. Beautiful, everybody. Now, if it's appropriate, you can tap one foot out, bring it in. Other side. Reach through the crown of your head. Good. How's everybody feeling? So good? Good. Almost there. Don't forget to squeeze your inner thighs and your glutes. Last set. Trying not to let those hips shift too much. Knees down. Press yourselves into a rest position. Awesome. Now, curl your tailbone toward your face. Slide your hands in. Think about pressing into your hands from your armpits and dragging your hands back towards you just a little bit. Now, when you exhale, press into your hands, lift your knees, create a tiny little nugget shape, and down. If that feels okay on your ankles, right? Good. Yeah. You can round your back. Good. Yeah. Trying not to supinate here, right? We're keeping our ankles nice and active. And if you need to, you can tuck your toes and push. It's just a little bit more weight on the feet. 2. Last one. Good. Go ahead. Bring your hands forward. Find that external rotation. Slide one foot out. Now you can always keep your toes down, lift your knee, rotate it, and then back. And rotate, and back. If you want, you can curl using that tiny nugget shape that we just found. Last one, switch legs, right? So slide that one foot out, other foot comes to meet it. You can always keep your toe down, small rotation, right? Or you can think of that tiny nugget, lift, Pressing down through your fingertips as well, so it's not just the heel of your hand. 2, last one, knees down. Press yourselves into a rest position, allowing those armpits to open. Roll out your wrists. Good. Go ahead. Make sure your knees are underneath your hips as best as possible, so we're not spread out. We're not in a tiny, tiny shape. Push your knees down and out so your glutes kick on. Lift your low abs. Squeeze one heel toward your buns. Good. Try to keep that angle the same. Okay, so when we lift the foot, we're not letting the angle spread out. Keep the angle the same, lift the thigh bone. Yeah, good. Hold here, and tiny squeezes of the glute. Keep the angle the same though, right? So it's easy to kind of be here, but I want you to think that there is a magnet on your buns and a magnet on your foot. Good, 4, 3, 2, hold. Point your toes out to the side and press up. 5, feel that in your outer hamstring. 4, 3, slow and juicy. 2, hold, point your toes in and press. Hopefully you'll start feeling that in your medial hamstring, right? Keeping your low abs active so we're not moving through those hips. Feel this in different places, you guys? So good. 3, 2, 1. Slowly let it lower. Other side. Now the good news is the other side might be your easier side. So squeeze it. Keep the foot just regular, neutral. Try to keep that angle the same. You've got that magnet. Push it up. And tiny little squeezes. Oh. Hopefully this is your easier side. Apparently this is not mine. So find your abs, making sure the hip bones aren't moving. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, point the foot out. And then press, right? Maybe you feel that lateral hamstring, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now point the toe inward, right? And press. It's gonna feel like you're doing a pigeon-toed stance, but we're trying to get our medial hamstring and our medial calf, right? We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Extend the first leg, but out. Reach it away from you. Hold. Find your abs. Just think about squeezing your butt. Maybe your foot lifts, maybe it doesn't. And then squeeze the butt harder. Yeah, and hold. And a little harder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Tiny circle. 5, 4. Trying to keep your hip bones still. We want them to point towards one direction and not move. They're just perfectly frozen. And then other side. So think more about letting the thigh bone stir in the socket rather than making a big shape. 2, 1, bring it down. Slide that other foot out. Push and hold. Lifting your belly button, keeping those hip bones and tailbone still. Tiny little squeezes, just of the glute. Right? Think of the glute initiating and maybe the foot lifts because of it. 5, 4, 3, you're all amazing. Circle, tiny circle, 5. Once again, it's about the thigh bone stirring, less about making a big shape. And reverse. Sometimes less is more. And I did not understand that concept until I started teaching Pilates. I was like, oh, got it. 3, 2, 1. Knees down, press yourselves into a rest position. Hands up and over to one side. Push your hips away. And then other side. Before we come to standing, we're gonna do a thing, and this might be something that you're like, this is really easy. What is this about? And in that case, great. Those of us who are like, that's challenging, you'll see why soon. So when we do standing glute work, a lot of times our tibia externally rotates, right? And that just means that this stuff is overworking typically, and this stuff is underworking typically. So I want you to think about your knee pointing straight up. Join me, you guys. You're like, what are we doing? Yeah, so we're gonna let the knee point straight up. Flex your foot. Now, without letting the knee move, try to point your toes inward. Yeah, and hold. And just hold. And hold. Feel how this has to engage some and this has to engage some? Good. Now keep that engaged. And if you want, you can even add a little tension. And then from your glute, press your knee into your hand. Yeah. Good. So don't let the knee cross your midline. We're pushing the knee out, toes in. And relax. Let's try that again. So I'm going to give myself a little added excitement and resist the pressure of my finger. And then you can press out into your hand. Yeah. Andrew, push your knee out a little bit more. That way, just the knee. Yeah, there you go. Do you feel that glute a little bit more now? Yeah. So it should be here, here, and here. Yeah. Good. Yeah. And then relax. We get to do one more. Good. And other side. Now, one side might be different than the other. That's okay. That's normal. Good. And just see. And we're also trying, this is the tricky part, not to supinate here, right? If we do, it's not the end of the world. But if you can, keep your foot flat and rotate it rather than like, yeah. And then push it, hold, right? And then you can press out with that knee, right? So we're trying to find internal tibial rotation here. Yeah. Good. Is that feeling okay on everybody's knees and stuff? Yeah. And then relax. And then if you want, you can always add extra tension. Yeah. Do you feel how, just for funsies, relax for a second, not worrying about the foot, just move the knee out. If the foot moves with you, do you see how it's less glute and more just kind of like lateral hamstring a little? Yeah. So last one like this. We're gonna press in, rotate, and hold. Yeah. For 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Okay, come on up. Coming all the way to standing, however you need to get there. If you can, come through a downward dog, great. And bring it all the way up. Now, hopefully that just told your nervous system what we're gonna do. So bend your knees, coming into a little partial squat, right? Now, if your foot turns out, do you see how that is the opposite of what we just did? So keeping your knees lined up with your second or third toe, we're just gonna hold. Good. Sending your hips back a little bit. Trying not to tuck, just hold. Yeah. Now, keep weight in one foot, heel and toe. Slide your other foot back. Yeah. Good. And then fold it in. And again. Good. Yeah. Yeah. How's that feeling, everybody? A little bit pretty stable in the knee, a little kind of stable in the hip. Maybe the foot feels stable, maybe it doesn't. If you are on an unstable surface and your foot's going, wah, and your knee is coming along for the ride, come on to a more stable surface, right? Good. We have 5. Good. 4. Yeah. 3. 2 more. Good. Last one. Hold it in. Ignore this back leg. We hip hinge. So keep that equal weight in heel and toe. Keep your knee bent. Untuck your tailbone, Suze. Yeah, there you go. And we hip hinge. So hip bones move along for the ride. Good. Do you feel how that glute is now eccentrically loaded? Push into your whole foot. Did you feel how your glute just kicked on more? Yeah, use that to help you lift. Yes. Let's try that again. Hip hinge. Sliding your tail feathers back a little bit to take pressure off your spine. Hold, push down into your whole foot, and then use that tension to help you lift. Good. How's that feeling? Great? Good. A few more. Push and hold, then lift. Good. Now, making sure that knee is bent, front knee bent, because if we straighten it out, we start using our back rather than our glute. And we're about to take our opposite hand, reach it across for a little rotation. Push into the floor, bring yourself up. Yeah. Hip hinge, hold, rotate, push into the floor, bring it up. Yeah, shoulders relaxed if you can. Yeah. Rotate, push and lift. Yeah. Now if you want, try lightening the load of this foot. You don't have to lift it, just take some of your weight out of it. And then if that feels like cool and easy, you can always try lifting it. I lose the integrity of the exercise a little bit when I lift my foot. So I'm gonna keep mine down, right? 3, 2 more. Last one like this. Good. Come all the way up. Beautiful. All right. Now, think about squeezing your inner thighs together like you're trying to pop a balloon. Now, while you've got that squeeze, engage your glutes to press out. So inner thighs and glutes working together, yeah? Great. The leg that was like just your stabilizing leg, lift it. Yeah. Gorgeous. Hey, guess what? We're just standing, but this should be a lot of work on that glute and inner thigh, right? Good. Now, hold that. This leg has options. It can just stay there, or it can extend forward, squeeze your quad. And then push it out to the side. And then push it on the angle behind you. Yeah. And then back. Each time, reconnect. Extend, boom. Push. And around. Trying not to let us move too much, right? So inner thigh and glute, stable, stable. Yes, there will be a little rotation here, but then stabilize before you move again, yeah. Trying to keep that lift of your knee up your leg. Yeah, anybody not feeling the stabilizing leg? Great, glad you're all feeling that work. Yep, last one. Nice job. Now, push the foot to the side, and we can lift and lower. Boom. Now, what I want you to try not to do is, oh, hey, what's up, right? That tends to happen if that glute or inner thigh stops working. Yeah. We have 5, 4, only going into a range that works for you. Make sure you're honoring your range, Suze. Cool? Last one. Yeah. How's that glute feel? You can stick it out, smack it out if you need to. Good. Guess what? Other side. So find that engagement. We're gonna, once again, think about those toes pointing forward as opposed to being in a V shape, sinking your hips down and back, right? Don't forget about what we just did. We want those glutes to help keep them in line with your second and third toe. So check your heels, make sure they aren't pointing towards each other. They're just friends, right? They're not trying to smooch. We're gonna tap and in. And reach. Good. So trying to keep like that little athletic position. So we have triple flexion here. We have flexion at our knee, our hip, and our ankle joint. Okay, that glute is stabilizing us. Of course our quad is, of course our inner thigh is, of course the hamstring is, but I want you to think about the booty. And then we're not really shifting here. We're just tapping. Good. Oh, this is normally my easy side. Not today, apparently. We have 4, 3, push through imaginary sand. Yep, like you're on the beach. Last 1, tap. Ignore that foot, yeah? Now, we hip hinge, so find that equal pressure between heel and forefoot. Hip bones hinge, spine comes along for the ride, yeah? Push into the floor only. Hopefully you felt that glute light up, yeah? Then drive that foot into the ground, trying to find hip extension before knee extension, okay? And then hip hinge, slide your tail feathers back. Good. Just push into the floor and then back. Do you guys feel the difference in the muscle recruitment? Okay, great. Just checking. Because sometimes, you know, we'll be on, say, the reformer, and like, oh, the reformer is great. It gives me all this feedback, which, yes, it does. The springboard does too, right? It gives you feedback, it gives you support. But we can also use the ground for that, right? Now, maybe take 10% out of that back foot, and we're gonna rotate. So bring it forward, hold. Opposite arm, we rotate, push into the floor, and come up. Yeah. Anybody else feel like a GI Joe here? Like, or Lego guy arms? Yeah. Good. We rotate. Good. And maybe you feel like, yes, great, so easy. I'm gonna lift my foot. But if you start all of a sudden wobbling so much that you can't maintain at least most of the integrity of the exercise, right? Maybe keep that toe down. I like to keep my toe down. Couple more, yeah. You're all amazing. 3, 2, yeah. Last one. And up. Good. Now inner thighs. Squeeze them. And then use those glutes. Yeah. And then lift a foot. Side note, another reason I wear my mask all the time is so nobody can see what I'm lip syncing under here, because it's constant. We're gonna squeeze and then push. I didn't wear it walking the other day, and I realized, and then tap, that everybody could actually see what I was doing with my mouth, and I was like, I'm putting this back on. And then, yeah. Now, as you take that foot behind you on the angle a little bit, try to keep your knee lined up with your toes, but let your hips rotate. So we're not letting the knee cross. We're actually using this opportunity to use our glute more. Does that make sense, theoretically? Good. Yeah, couple more. Inner thigh and glute, yeah? 2 more, 2 more, you've got this. You're amazing, you're champions. Last one. Good. Now, feet apart. Before we do this, check in with the way your knees feel. If for any reason it doesn't feel okay on your knees, don't do it, okay? Now first, we are moving from our hip, not our knees. So bend your knees a little, just so you can see the difference. Move your knees in, and move your knees out, right? And then come back. Feel how that put a little bit of tension on your knees potentially? We're not gonna stick with that. We're going to internally rotate our femur from our hip. Okay, so if you need to do Frankenstein legs to get there, that's fine. So your toes will point towards each other. Your knees are still going to travel over that second toe. But now they're coming together a little bit because the second toe is pointing towards itself. Yeah? Does that feel okay on everybody's knees? Okay. Sink down just a little bit. Push into the floor just a little, lift an inch. Sink it down. Hold. Press just an inch. So normally we work a lot of neutral and external rotation, right? Which we need. We also need internal rotation, right? So that is why we are focusing on it in a way that theoretically should not put excessive tension on our knees. If at any point you're like, actually that doesn't feel great, come to neutral instead, okay? You're 5. Try to push to get that little lift, not just lift, right? 4, 3, good. 2, last one, hold. Yeah, and then tinier ones. 5, 4, 3, 2, you're amazing. Last one, hold. Lower a little. Teenier ones. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up. Slightly wider stance. Now, once again, we're not just moving from our ankle or our knee, yeah? Think of that whole thigh bone. The thigh rotates, the foot just comes along for the ride. Thigh rotates, foot comes along for the ride. Okay? Sink it down, making sure knees are over second or third toe. Hold. Now, my first one, I always have to like make sure. So take your hands, place them on your thighs, near your knees. Use your hands here to spiral your knees out slightly. Yes. Now, see if you can hold that when you let go. Yeah. Now lift all the way up, squeezing your inner thighs together. Yeah. Slowly sink it down, rotating. Good. Press, squeeze, lift. Slide and rotate. Good. And then, good. I wish the song was louder. Suze can hear it, yeah? Yeah. Too legit to quit. Good, yes. Press your knees out just a little bit more. Yeah, so good. I'm lip syncing. You just can't see it, yeah. Good. I want you to lift your arch for me just a little bit. Yeah. Do you feel where your knee went? See if you can just make it. Yeah, yes. 2 more. Good. All right, when you're ready, we hold it down. Now, if you need to, hands can be here, it's fine. Just gonna do a little lift and lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Yeah, grab your weights. Yeah, same everybody. Now, squeeze those inner thighs together. Yeah, great, shoulders relaxed. We're just gonna do a little bicep curl. Yeah, 4 counts down. 4, 3, 2, and exhale. And slowly lower. Yeah, now guess what? If at any point you're like, I'm just dropping my weights, it's fine. Good. And sometimes I actually like to do a move without any weight and then add weight. So if, for instance, you're like, I don't feel like I'm doing this exactly the way I should be, try it without weight. And then once you're like, oh yeah, there it is, then you can always add on. Now, if you want, 1 leg. If you're like, I would like both legs under me, please. It's great. Yeah. 2 more like this. Last one. Now on this move, I'm gonna drop my weights for just a second and then pick them up again so I can show you what I'm wanting. We're going to slide our shoulder blades. Our shoulder blades are gonna do this. Shoulders are not gonna lift. We're using our deltoids. and then down. So you should feel out here, not up here, okay? If this is happening, put your weights down, okay? You also don't have to go very far, okay? Great. So here, down a little, arms down a little, yeah. Slide them out, boop, yep, and then back. Good, good. Yeah. 5, 4, 3. Try not to overgrip those pecs. They don't need to do the work. Last one. Good. Pitch forward a little, tap your toe. Shoulders melted. Now, instead of thinking of pressing back or up, I want you to press down, squeeze your triceps, keep pressing down, and then move your arms behind you. Down and then behind. Now, if you want, pitch forward, flip that foot. So down, squeeze, press, hold. Good. Down, squeeze, press, hold. 4, 3, 2 more. How long is the song? I feel like it's been going for like 10 minutes. It's not Baby Got Back. There's no excuse for it. Last one. Bring it up. Guess what? Biceps again. Shoulders relaxed. Bicep. And slowly lower. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see it. I am smiling at you. Good. Smize. I taught Audra how to smize the other day. All right, if you're ready. So watching a 16-year-old practicing smizing in the mirror is kind of hilarious. All right. Beautiful. Few more. Yeah. Good. When you're ready, we're going to add that deltoid, right? So once again, if you're like, my neck, take the weights out for a couple, then add on. Maybe with lighter weights, or just think about squeezing the muscle, right? Sometimes thinking about just what the muscle does is going to be more helpful than necessarily thinking about the move, right? 3 more. 2 more. Yeah. Now, when you're ready, tap that toe back. Shoulders relaxed, elbows in line with your ribs. Push down, squeeze that tricep, reach it back. Yeah. Down, opening your collarbones a little bit. Maybe you hover that foot, maybe you don't. Keeping that core strong. A few more here. At 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1. Bring it up. All right, widen your feet to about hip distance, okay? And we're going to ignore our back foot a little bit, slide it out. Think about just the front leg. Slowly lower down. All your weight is on that front leg. Maybe you go down to the ground, maybe you don't. Push into the foot, bring it up. Yeah. So try to keep your back toe pointed forward like you're walking. And we elevate her down, elevate her up. Good. Few more. 4, yep. 3. Awesome. So close. Last one. Hold it halfway down. Hold. Now all we're gonna do Hip hinge forward a little. Bring it up, bicep curl. Hip hinge tricep. Hip hinge bicep. Oh, I know, tricky. And moving from your hip bones, not your spine, right? So hips, hips, hips. Everybody feeling that front glute, front quad, front hamstring? Yeah. 2. Last one. Bring it up, other side. I'm just gonna turn around. Slowly lower. I know, but it's gonna feel so good when we're done. Slowly lower. Push into the floor. Push. Yeah. Try to take some of the weight out of the back foot. Okay, real talk. My socks are so sweaty right now that they are sliding down my foot. It's grossing me out. So if I start making weird faces, you'll know why. 2 more. Last one like this. Halfway down. Hip hinge. And then hip hinge. Squeeze that back cheek. Hip hinge. Hips. Now, if you're ready, we tricep, bicep, tricep. Yeah, almost there. Light grip on your weights. Push into the foot, but don't overly squeeze. 2. Last 1, like this. Come on up. All right, I'm gonna show you something and then we're gonna row. You can row standing or on your knees. I'm gonna come onto my knees. But when we row, a lot of times we just kind of do this. See if you can see it from this angle. And instead of activating our mid and lower trapezius, what it does is it actually overactivates our pec minor, which then creates tension in our upper trapezius and levator scapula. So everybody, think about your elbows pulling to the sky, right? Like this. Feel how like, oh, my neck, yeah? All right, so now, instead of that, think about widening your collarbones like you're taking off a jacket. Yeah, and then think about just keeping them wide as you send your elbows straight behind you. Yes, yes, good. How does that feel? Do you feel your back a little bit? Yeah, let's try that again. Good. I would temper your range this much. Yeah, think about at the end range instead of back more, think about shoulder blades pulling down. Yeah, for you too, just a little bit, Suze. At the end range, instead of back farther, think about your shoulder blades coming down just a tiny bit. Yeah, good, yeah. That should hopefully help your back engage, take some of the tension out of your neck, okay? Great, so now, same thing, find your end range, pitch forward. Okay, so end range first, then pitch forward. Okay, that, feel how it's kind of like lined up? That is where we're gonna go with our row, okay? Let's try it without weights first. Widen through your collarbones, keep them wide. Yeah, good, a little less. Yeah, good. Down, yeah. It's hard, right? Especially when we're at this range because we think, oh, I got it. But if you're going so far back that it causes an arch, like I used to, that actually gets your erector spinae group on more than your lower traps, right? So try to keep those ribs drawing towards your belly button a little, and it's a down, yeah. Now, if you want, you can add weight. If you don't, that's okay, you can always do it without. Collarbones wide, shoulder blades down, and it's less about forcing the shoulders down, more about the shoulder blades lowering. Why does that matter? Well, I'll tell you. Your pec minor can also be a shoulder depressor, which is crazy, right? So thinking about the back lowering rather than the front lowering gets different muscles on. 2 more. Good. Keep the elbows just kind of hugging your ribs a little. Last one. Good. Hold. Where are you feeling this? If you're feeling it in your low back or your neck, bring the hands forward slightly, shoulders down. Yeah. Good. How's that feeling, everybody? Still good? Great. We're going to lie down. Should be a fun time. All right, so first, let's talk about this. A lot of times when we reach our arms towards the sky, we actually lift our shoulder blade off the ground. I want you to let your shoulder blade, not necessarily your humerus, but the blade, be flat on the ground, okay? And then arms to the sky. Squeeze your triceps for me. Good. And then relax, and then see if you can keep the shoulder blades flat. Squeeze the triceps. Good. Now, we're gonna keep your collarbones wide. Elbows will kind of reach out. They'll tap on the ground. And then think about leading from your serratus. So your pinky finger more than your thumb. Shoulder blades stay flat for this. And then slowly lower. Now, we can then press up from the armpit, but then I want the shoulder blade to flatten again before you bend the elbow, okay? If that works for you, you can then add weight. If you try weight and you're like, doesn't feel as good, get rid of the weight, okay? So everything flat, reach your arms up, tiny external rotation through your arm bones, pinky fingers reach more towards the sky, using your abs to stabilize you. Flatten your shoulder blades, elbows wide. Reach it up, keep the shoulder blades flat as long as possible. Reach the pinky fingers to the sky. Shoulder blades flat, elbows kind of wide. They don't need to be wide at 90. If you've got shoulder issues, that can be a lot on that shoulder capsule, right? So think more about an A-frame than a T. Good. Yeah, good. 3. And 2. Last one. Arms up. Reach with the pinky fingers. Now let your shoulder blades be heavy. Place your hands together. Tricep dip. Squeeze the triceps. Keep the shoulder blades down. Now, if you want, of course, you can turn your hands to face a different position. And while technically it's not the hand position that changes the tricep engagement, it makes the angle of the elbow change, which then changes the way it's behaving on the shoulder. 2 more. Last one. Good. Arms down, hands behind your head. And we did start a couple minutes late, so we're gonna end a couple minutes late if that's all right with you guys. Spiral your elbows forward, shoulder blades draw down your back. Before you move, think about your lower abs drawing towards the ground. Now, if your spine changed shapes or you rocked your hips towards your face, rock them back to neutral if you can. Curl forward. Hands come forward. Push into an imaginary surface, gorgeous. Hands come back, hold. Push one foot into the floor, float your other leg to tabletop. Reach that knee away, press it down, 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 float the other leg up. Good, reach it away, press, and float. Good. Few more. Bring your elbows forward more. Yeah. I know, we always hear elbows wide. Couple more. Good, you're all amazing. And 2. Last one. Good. And slowly lower down. Now, just feel your shoulder blades, okay? Bottom tip of one of them will stay down. So we're actually going to lift one shoulder blade, try to keep your hips down. So it's a small rotation and down. Other side, so it's lift, tiny rotation and down. Lift, tiny rotation and down. Couple more here. Yeah. Almost there. Come back to center, hands behind your thighs. Press your thighs into your hands. Good. Now, should be fun. Fun. All right, hands forward. And I actually want your elbows to kind of rest on your knees, about your elbow. Yeah. Shoulders down, curl your tailbone back a little. Now, making sure you're not pressing from here, but serratus and abs, just press your hands down or your arms down into your knees. Everybody feel those abs connect a little bit more? Great. And again. If you feel your pecs, think about externally rotating a little. Think about pressing down from your abs instead. Yeah, is that better for everybody? Yeah. Last one. Yeah. Now, keep that connection. Hands come behind your head. Curl and start to roll back. Yeah. Now, if your feet are lifting, make sure they plant. You can squeeze those inner thighs together. Curl behind your tailbone if possible. Now, all we're going to do, widen your elbows and collarbones so much harder, yeah? And then forward. And again. If it's too easy, roll back farther. Yeah. 4, 3, 2. Last one. Hands forward. If you need to, reconnect by pressing into your knees. One arm comes out, don't move. Yeah. And scoop it forward. Yeah. Other side, hold. Try to keep even weight distribution between your sits bones, right? So if you feel one side taking more weight, how's everybody feeling? Good? Suze, keep looking straight ahead. How dare you? It's fine. You just didn't think I could see you. I'm always watching. Now we're going to hold this first one. Now, if you need to, you have one hand on that knee and you bend the elbow and then back. And then other side, you take it out, hold, and then you bend the elbow to rotate. Or think of it in 2 pieces, 2 moves. One, hold, rotate second, and back. Hold first, counter rotation, adding rotation. And breaks are great, right? Always. I'm part of an NASM Facebook group, and somebody was like, what are your motivational cues for classes? And everybody's like, you can do it. You don't have to like it. You just have to do it. And I was like, ew, no. I was like, minor breaks are great. Listen to your body. And I stand by that. Last one. Good. And then come forward, restack. Guess what? We're not done, but you can. Use your hands. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. Curl back an inch, hold. Curl back an inch, back an inch, back an inch, back an inch. Everybody's arms are different size in proportion to their torso. So I have a long torso and short arms, so I can't go back very far before my arms straighten, right? So maybe if you have longer arms and a shorter torso, you're able to go back a little farther, which is great. Neither is wrong. It's just yours might not look the same as mine, and that's fine. Yeah. Andrea, you look like you're waiting for the shoe to drop. It's about to. Well, you can. It's an option. You don't have to. That's the kicker, is you don't have to let go. Or you can let go on the way down and use your hands on the way up, right? That's fine too. Here, and then here. Yeah, good, couple more. Good, everybody, you're so amazing. Yeah. And then if you want, try to keep your legs still. I say that with a question mark because it's not really possible, but it's our goal if you can, right? Now, if you need to, hey, guess what? Hands help. That is fine. Or if you need to, do one at a time. You can do that too. Okay. We have two more. Last one. And extend your legs, reach for your feet. Get a little stretch. Hands can come to one side, other side. Come onto your knees. I'm gonna bring one foot forward. Tuck your tailbone. Squeeze your buns. I already feel a huge stretch. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And then just a little lean and press. Yeah. So we're going into a little active stretch. This foot drags us, still squeezing, and then we lift to come back. Two more. Last one, hold. Take same arm as back leg, reach it up and over. Oh, and back, and up and over. How's that stretch? So delightful. Most of us have been sitting a lot more, right? Last one, hold. You can take that opposite arm and give it a little pull if you want. Then we get to do the other side. So just turn. Give me a little squeeze, a little tuck of that tailbone, little active stretch. So think about this side dragging you forward while this stretches, and then you push back. Keep the squeeze, keep the tuck, and just notice what your foot is doing, right? If your foot is turning out, it could mean that maybe one muscle is tight. If your foot is turning in, it could mean that a different muscle is tight. Neither are bad, they're just different. Last one, hold. Same arm as back leg, reach up and over. And then out of that, yeah. You guys, we're almost done. We're almost done, friends. Two more. Last one, hold it. And then you can give yourself a little stretch if you like. A few more breaths. We're gonna come all the way to standing. So if you can, do it without using your hands. Do it. And then just a tiny little bit of balance work. Make sure you're not going to trip over your weights. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Yeah, and then if this feels good, close your eyes. Come away from your weights a little bit more. Yeah, just in case. I want a clear escape route, right? Couple more breaths. And then other side. Squeeze. And then potentially close your eyes. And just feel what your body does, right? And then bring your feet together, open your eyes, slide your shoulders to your ears, drop them straight down. One more. Nice job, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for joining me. You are all amazing.